Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. Fantastically interesting and relevant topic today on the future of AI in the data center and beyond. Really important topic with a true industry expert and insider, Chris from Digital Realty. How are you?
Very good, Evan. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here from beautiful Colorado. I was just there a couple weeks ago. Wonderful part of the world. So I'm sure you'll have a fantastic summer. Before we dive in, maybe introduce yourself, a little bit about your bio, your background, and your current role as CTO at Digital Realty.
Yeah, absolutely. Been doing it longer than I care to admit. Coming over 20 years now. Data centers have definitely changed over the years. Most recently with AI, which is such an exciting topic that we'll go into today. But I look at all of the technical sales implementation. So sales engineers, solution architects, really shaping what the customer demands are. Then that flows through product. So I get also to lead a phenomenal team of individuals around our product organization. And then that flows through all of the back office, back end IT, and then how we secure all of those elements together. So that's kind of my remit here at Digital Realty.
Fantastic. And give us a 30,000 foot view of Digital Realty. Who are you guys? Where do you stand in this very crowded data center landscape?
Yeah, so we're a bit different in that we're the largest operator with over 330 data centers all around the globe. I think that's a
Wow.
unique expertise in that having a platform where customers can design once, deploy many, I think is top of mind, but then also comprehensive set of capabilities. So we're able to do a rack, an individual rack for smaller customers, cage, medium-sized customers, all the way up to hundreds and hundreds of megawatts for some of the largest hyperscalers. So we're able to target the broader percentage of the market with all of our offerings. I think
Fantastic.
the last underpinning, Evan, which I think is also poignant to this conversation, is interconnection. So tying all those elements together with different capabilities so that customers can easily communicate with one another.
Wow, that's really intriguing. And you mentioned your personal journey. How has that sort of shaped your understanding of today's landscape? Maybe tell us a little bit about that up to your current role as CTO.
Yeah, we all have our journey. I'm a technologist at heart, as you can see with all the different types of computers that I surround myself with. But
Yeah,
that's
that's quite a computer museum you have behind you. Fantastic.
yeah, it's not only a job, it's the ability to kind of collect all kinds of artifacts, which is, to your point, Evan, has driven my journey and kept me in the data center industry, right? Being exposed to all of the trends from gaming content in the early days, kind of the internet, and then, with the apex of artificial intelligence, more particularly generative AI, that's really driven, my story of just leveraging it in my day-to-day lives. Like I use computer vision in my chicken coop, which we watch for different kind of intruders coming in, but just really, starting to understand the ability of generative AI and some of these capabilities, and how do you, leverage those in a very kind of sustainable way, which we'll probably get into a bit more detail, but also just the impact it can have on, progressing all of from my chicken coop all the way into how I write emails in my work efforts. So it's a pretty impactful technical evolution that we're in the middle of right now.
Yeah, very exciting. And we're just beginning, which is even more exciting. So give us, the topic of the day, AI, Gen AI, from your unique bird's eye perspective, how is it impacting the data center industry right now?
Yeah, I think the first is, which most people are starting to understand, is the demand. It's just the
Mm,
demand of power. So with these new chips coming online and the cycle of chips expediting, so we're all in the middle of that cycle where new and faster, more performant chips are coming to market. The overall total demand is just increasing exponentially. And so I think that's probably the biggest backdrop that we watch. And, being one of the larger operators where we have 2.5 gigawatts under management today with
wow.
a runway of 3 gigawatts. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. So I always try to give people a little bit of an analogy. A gigawatt is a large size nuclear power plant. So we have two and a half of those under management today and three more of those coming online. And that really is at the epicenter of supporting generative AI and also cloud, because we see generative AI as being additive to the overall demand cycle. But, that's one of the elements is the power. And then, the other element that I think would be interesting to your audience here today is the size of the capacity block, right?
Mm.
So being able to do more within an individual power capacity block allows for these newer models to be trained. And I think we're also you said it best, Evan, where we're in the beginning, right, of the way that this generative AI is taking off. And so bimodal, said differently, is just, we're text to text today. So we're on the precipice of kind of text to image. But as you start to bring in video and some of these other capabilities, the amount of infrastructure required is just increasing kind of exponentially as well. So that capacity block is coming into focus. And then how does it all talk to each other? So the interconnection and the capabilities of all of these different models, and also your cloud and your data, at the most simplistic sense, it's data and algorithm being put to those data. So those algorithms are generative AI. So the more advanced algorithms and the more that you can do with your data, that's at the epicenter of what we're seeing inside of the data center today.
Fantastic. And let's get really practical, because you're about delivering real world compute and solutions, not just making marketing press releases. I saw in the news you're hosting an Nvidia-powered AI supercomputer in Denmark. That sounds really intriguing. Can you tell us more?
No, absolutely. It's one of the largest DGX pods being deployed inside of Europe today. It's for a customer called Novo Nordisk. It's their NNF Foundation. It's pretty unique in not only the size of it, but also that market. And so it's a pretty interesting market. I actually got the ability to go out there and meet with the team. But it's just a foray into, like what we've discussed earlier, is larger capacity block required to support the size of this, but just the transformative capabilities of doing pharmaceutical research inside of this environment, where they're able to deploy this inside of Denmark. And we were able to marry our infrastructure to meet the power density requirements associated with this new DGX pod. But we're very excited about, when that comes online, just the monumental amount of research is going to be able to be done out of this deployment. And it's not just about pharma. There's not a vertical that we don't see being impacted on being the benefits of generative AI and being able to support these new types of compute infrastructure coming to market. So this is one that is pretty exciting. And I think the last piece I'd tell you, Evan, is that the PUE levels that we're able to achieve with this. And so in this deployment, we're able to use a lot of free air cooling. So using the outside temperatures to cool off the infrastructure, but then also, with some of the excess thermal, being able to heat homes and businesses because of
Wow.
the way the design has been made as well. So very unique up in the Nordics, across from Stockholm and Denmark, and what we've been doing with our infrastructure there.
Yeah, well, let's talk about ESG, because they were ahead of the curve, but now it's the top of pretty much everyone's mind, including us here in the US. This compute requires massive amounts of power. What is the solution to addressing the, environmental impact, short term, long term? How do you balance those against the economic, requirements?
Absolutely. And this is one that's near and dear to my heart, like everyone. We've gone really slow at digital for some time now. Having worked here almost 9 years, we've always looked at and been ahead of the curve on. We have 1.4 gigawatts of solar and wind generation under our portfolio today. And
Wow.
so just continually investing in those elements, where really bringing in those types of projects into the grid is absolutely paramount to us. The other equation at the highest level is just being able to run a data center more performant than others. So the PUE, miles per gallon, if you equate it to your vehicle, or kilometers per gallon, depending on where our listeners are today, but really watching how the design can effectively and efficiently align to the increasing demand of the infrastructure coming into the facility. So that's really where we've always focused in on our ESG message. And then the last piece is water usage. It's one that's misunderstood and not really thought about unless you're really in the industry. And so we have a design today that uses in a lot of our data centers that utilizes no water at all. And so we're
Wow.
looking at, even in some markets we can buy gray water, which is, kind of given back by the municipality to us, and we're able to utilize that in certain scenarios. So no one design is built for all of the metros that we operate around the globe, but definitely watching how using these scarce resources in the most efficient, effective way possible is at the core of what we do at Digital.
Oh, really important. I was in your neck of the woods in Boulder just the other week, and the Coors factory was there in the background. And you remember the old ads, made with pure mountain spring water, and they found a way to be sustainable and environmentally minded with their production. So I think this industry can figure out to do the same. When you think about tech advancement, I mean, what are the challenges you're seeing? It's not all smooth when it comes to the hardware software integration and other challenges that arise. For example, that Nvidia supercomputer example. What did
Yeah.
you have to overcome to kind of get that in production?
Yeah, I'll start at the most basic sense. This infrastructure is getting heavier and heavier. So floor loading.
Mm,
So
right.
making sure that
Wow.
we've anticipated for a long time that, these racks are upwards of 2,000 pounds and growing. And so
Wow.
just always ensuring that our data center design had anticipated that. That's something that's not easily overcome once the data center has been built. I think the next couple of elements is the power densification. So how you cool some of these elements is another, element where we've done a tremendous amount of R&D in our groups, and I'm pretty excited about some of the work that we've been able to do in bringing, in a most simplistic sense, liquid. So bringing liquid in
Mm,
the data center, not only, we do in some markets rear door heat exchangers, but also liquid to the chips. That really allows
mm,
us, where we've talked publicly about being able to take a majority or over half of our portfolio today to 150 kilowatts with DLC. So servicing those customers to the chip. So that allows us ample runway to support all of these new chips that we hear about in the press coming to market. So we're pretty excited about that. And then the last one is connectivity, right? Where, your AI is only as smart as the data you feed it. And so we
mm.
constantly are also seeing is that not one model wins, there's a recursive set of models. So being able to interconnect all of these elements together more efficiently, which is one of the reasons why we have a cool or not a podcast, but a blog that I had written around private AI exchange, where,
Mm.
educating people on how to bring data sets together. So that connectivity piece is something that's also paramount to allowing customers to not only access their private data, but also multiple sources of public data as well.
Wow, such an important topic overlooked in this sort of AI arms race we're in. Really exciting. And you mentioned, pharma and drug discovery, looking at your website, so many different customer use cases. I see here KakaoBank, so banking, finance, what are they doing? Is it almost every industry that's going to be revolutionized, do you think? I can't imagine any industry that's not going to be impacted to some
Yeah,
degree.
yeah, it's absolutely amazing. There's not a vertical I don't run into, right? Where,
Mm,
for many years we were talking like data, and data was their intellectual property. So where's your data being created? How are you doing the store of your data? Now people are really, really getting into the understanding of how you can action that data. And so I think that's where we see it across every vertical, that either, they have a solid kind of understanding of their data and how they're doing their data strategy, but then, going forward, how do you do the analytics against that? And that's pervasive. And so you referenced KakaoBank. We're very excited about hosting their environment, where they're able to do a little bit of ideation in a very succinct fashion, where they're bringing and creating new capabilities to service their financial customers. And so that's at the foray of that vertical, where we see many types of financial customers really understanding, hey, what could I be doing better with my customers, and how can I action some of these capabilities together? And so that's one of the many that have been highlighted. But I think also, we're seeing upwards of, 60, 70 AI deals that we've done this year alone, but then the pipeline of what we would classify as AI deals coming into market, where what's also starting to form is private AI, where customers want to own their own
mm.
analytical type of capabilities and build out their own environments to do analytics against their own data sets. So a lot of private AI capabilities coming to market that we're pretty excited about.
Yeah, the next wave of innovation there. For those of us who aren't that familiar with digital realty, maybe give us a peek behind the curtain about the team and the culture and where folks are based and the mission that you're driving internally.
No, absolutely. It's an exciting topic, right? The heritage that exists within digital realty is something that's near and dear to my heart, right? Having been here as long as I've had the opportunity to be the CTO of Digital Realty, it's different perspectives, right? So I'll go into kind of remit, and then I'll go into the global
Mm,
distribution. But I'll tell you, one of the things that also allows us to align to our customer opportunity is the fact that we spend a lot of time master planning markets, right?
mm.
And that's why it's in the name. So people are like, oh, it's digital realty. Like, what are you really doing there? Being able to master plan a market and work with the utility operators, work with the communities, and it's not just about one building, it's about multiple buildings, and really having a long-term view in that market so that a lot of challenges can be avoided in how we build out our infrastructure in the market. And so that heritage of the expertise of getting entitlements and understanding how to work long-term with utility operators to ensure that, not only the generation is there, but the transmission, because those are critical elements to how we can be successful and continually grow for our
Wow.
customers. The second piece is the heritage and expertise around engineering. So data center design and the construction. We were one of the first pioneers in modularity, right? Where
Mm,
it's not about what your requirements are today. We want our customers to land and expand. And so being able to ideate and align our electrical distribution and cooling technologies, we've done a lot of R&D and built out a lot of intellectual property around both of those elements in the distribution, and then being able to cool those racks. I think that's the two, kind of elements that surmise, the employees and inside of digital realty. I think the distribution, every market that matters. That's
mm.
why I spend a lot of time on the plane, more time than I care to admit sometimes. But we're in every major market all throughout Europe. I think we have some phenomenal assets. Most recently, I would, probably one of the prettiest data centers I've ever seen, which most people are like, "What are you talking about?" Is Paris and our Paris Park. I
Oh,
invite
nice.
everybody to go check out those pictures. It's a round data center. I get a lot of hard times from the industry
Wow.
people where there's no round servers. Why do you have a round data center? But we really wanted to make the aesthetics operate in a way that really embraced the community. But beautiful data center in Paris, all throughout, our work that we've done through Singapore, Japan. These are critical markets for our customers because, again, we have a lot of multinational customers where they design once and they want to deploy many. And then just bringing it back here to the United States. I mean, we're pretty excited about the work that we continue to do in Ashburn, Virginia, which is the
Mm.
epicenter of more data center infrastructure than anywhere else on Earth. And so not only do we have a little over a gigawatt operating there, but we have a runway with a new campus we're building right now by the Dulles Airport, which is another gigawatt of capability that we're slowly bringing online.
Sounds like I need to hit the road and check out some of these sites. I'm a big fan of good architecture and design
That's right.
construction, so it'd be fun to check them out. Well, thanks so much for sharing, an insights around the great opportunity you're facing. Used to be we used to slow down a little bit during the summer. I'm not sure in this new AI world that's happening anymore. Any travel or events coming up? What are you looking forward to professionally?
Yeah, I know a lot of travel. You said it earlier, Evan, and I'll echo the sentiment. It is an arms race. Time to
Mm.
market is one of the critical deciding factors on how you can get your infrastructure placed. So just going out, meet with a lot of different customers. There's I actually get the opportunity later this week to be at a White House event, so we're pretty excited about that
Wow,
and
no
making
kidding.
sure that's aligned. So yeah, it'll be a busy summer to say the least, Evan.
Well, what about some downtime? You're in a beautiful part of the world. What's your favorite activity? You said biking, hiking, mountaineering,
Yeah, I love
fishing,
it all.
camping. You got it all in Colorado.
Yeah, no, I love it all. I get the fortunate ability. I mean, I have two small children, and so we
Hmm.
actually just came back from Yellowstone. So we took the RV up there,
Ah,
we got to see it all. But yeah, hopefully to get some time out on the bike and hit the trails, that'd be great.
well, enjoy. Send pics. Thanks so much, Chris. Really intriguing, insightful chat, and look forward to following all the success.
Yeah, thank you, Evan. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching. Take care.